Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going back to just some normal gameplay using dual sword plus crossbow. Now a lot of you guys have been asking just for some generic gameplay, and I would say this is a little bit more than generic because there's one of my favorite moments in this playtest happens with this crossbow and rogue. And I'm going to kind of prove to you guys today why the crossbow is such a good secondary weapon. Alongside dual wield, the crossbow has ability to poke, deal crazy damage, and an argument could be made that a windlass isn't a terrible option either. So kicking this one off, we actually get a pretty favorable spawn if you have a ranged weapon, because you can kind of poke your head into this room and start abusing the guy who spawns next to you. The only problem is, if you do this too early like I just did, the mobs behind you do aggro and sneak up to you. So really it's smarter to clear this room first, then make your way to that direction, but if you go too late, you're getting pushed by the guy over there. So it's one of the more chaotic places to spawn, as there's pretty much 3 guys within close proximity around that opened up cavern room, which is kind of like a half circle, and everyone spawns around the edge of it. But because of our mistakes, we have to kind of get our distance now and pot up. And before we can finally finish off or deal with this barbarian, we hear a rogue close by. Fortunately, this is pretty early in the playtest, so most guys are running pretty basic gear. Then Barbarian Boy decides it's his time to shine. One swing deals with him quite nicely, and I will apologize for the frame drops. This is when the playtest was going through a whole bunch of graphic problems, and I do have some better equipment now on my PC, because in the past, I would actually, crash every time a Barbarian would roar, which was extremely frustrating.
Stop playing like a pussy.
Sounds like this rogue isn't a big fan of a crossbow user at all. We actually hear the little jingle there, him dropping some Caltrops, so I kind of get the impression he's just trying to lure me into, obviously, whatever damage I do. I think it's like 15 or 20, but also calling me out for playing passively. Not really sure. So we're just gonna kind of get in some space. We're not gonna push into this guy. Give him exactly what he wants, and luckily, I have the crossbow. I can just keep my distance. Don't have to worry about too much. And a crossbow bolt to this guy from chest up, probably hitting him for almost half his health. If only we could land a few shots. Because I think this was actually one of my first situations where I see he comes back in, drops smoke caltrops, and away he goes. But yeah, I think this was actually one of the first times I used the crossbow in this playtest very early on. This would be one of the first few days, seeing as I'm not even level 20 yet. It's actually very difficult to find crossbows this playtest, I found, unless you did find them in the shop. Most people were selling them for a lot, and towards the end of the playtest, they were just rare. I couldn't get as many of them as I liked at all, especially while testing a bunch of other stuff for you guys. We're kind of going to hang out, see what this guy's up to. You'll see I have the Castellan as a secondary. That's just basically so that I get the dual wield attack speed. I don't ever plan on using that to swing with. It does very, very little damage, and the swing actually takes a long time to sweep across from side to side. Unless you're really good with landing that third one, it's kind of a weak option to use. I've seen a lot of people in the Discord asking about swing combinations. This is a situation where I just prefer to use my primary. Once again, he drops his Caltrops, we smack him with an arrow, and he's probably super mad. Yeah, we nearly finished him off there, and you can see his anger has risen to a whole new level. I don't know if he understands we can actually see him through this door. Expecting a fight here, we pop Adrenaline Rush. He just outreaches us. And that shot right there is absolutely so satisfying, because I know this guy will never use Caltrops again after the exchange we just had. I think there's 3 or 4 occasions where he planted them on the ground. I could clearly hear the audio cue, and I just waited for them to disappear or use my crossbow to deal some damage. I feel bad for that guy. He was trying extremely hard to make those work, and now he'll probably never use them again. But, I mean, if you're going to shout, kind of vulgar stuff to people, I don't know, it's a little too obvious, It just felt like he was baiting too hard. Now we actually have a pretty decent start, and you can see already how much gear makes everything so much easier. Simply having dual wield with a little bit of light armor, a crossbow, 50, 60 gold on some of these items, like crossbow and maybe some arrows, takes you from just being super easy to kill to being extremely hard to deal with. So yeah, running base level gear in Goblin Caves for the first day or two was okay, and after that was almost horrible. The success rates were just not great, as you would have seen in my Gladiator series. We had a guy kind of lurking above us. He gets the unfortunate, fortunate little moment of dealing with a mimic. I think the worst part about mimics is that they're just incredibly loud, they take a bunch of your time, and you usually don't get anything exciting from looting them afterwards. Get a really early portal spawn, quite close by. Can we hear a second wind or something just burn off the fighter? Everybody kind of just took a second to listen. There's still a guy above us, I think, kind of messing around. Sounds like a fighter, judging by that second wind. So maybe we'll get another little duel in. Then we hear a guy switch to pots. So we actually got a guy on the other side of this door, potentially. Or maybe there's two guys engaging each other up top. This is when Goblin Caves becomes incredibly difficult to piece together all the audio. And then sometimes in just quick moments, there's absolutely no noise at all. You go from hearing multiple players to hearing absolutely none at all. I was really praying that would be him opening the door directly in front of me, which would basically guarantee a crossbow bolt to the face. However, he's still kind of hanging up above. Must be the same guy we were hearing earlier. It's really hard to get a look at him. I see a helmet, and that crossbow bolt just catches the boards. It's been a really nice lead into this fight. We actually just narrowly missed that platform and fall to the floor. And this guy's going full Rambo. Tag him with a bolt. Dodge his first swing, land two nice ones. And then basically just adrenaline rush. He had some pretty decent stuff. I think his arming sword, judging by the color of it already, is a much better arming sword than what we were using. Even missing a few swings, adrenaline rush kind of helps you carry yourself through that fight. I mean, the attack speed on my even kind of garbage arming sword was enough to help me win that. I missed a few hits, but essentially doesn't matter. You're still swinging at head level with the arming sword, so you're bound to catch them a few times when it matters most. Now we have a pretty decent inventory of loot, and we're going to get some more off this guy. We take a rest at a terrible spot because I realize the zone's going to push us. So I decided to just bandage up, grab some of this guy's gear, and then hopefully find an escape portal. Like I thought, yeah. Nicer color, a little bit brighter arming sword. Means we get a green one, and kind of a lot more loot than I was expecting, actually. Like, if we make it out alive, you know, this is probably 100, 150 G run. I don't know why I'm keeping that quarterstaff or the rondel. Early on in the playtest, it's just kind of this weird hoarding thing that goes on with me where I keep even the worst rondels just in case I want to run that dual sword setup with weapon mastery, using the rondel as a primary and a short sword as a secondary. So we actually are quite well off here. Decent meds, decent gear. I'm going to try to pick up the arming sword I dropped, just because I know I'm going to run that weapon again soon. Man, that's nice to see. Whole inventory of gems and items and necklaces. Some gear we can use later on, and the moment we climb these stairs, we see a portal perfectly placed so we can get out of here with no more fighting or PvPing left to take part in. So yeah, that rogue situation was probably one of my favorite things that happened to me quite early on in this playtest. Seeing how he was trying to bait me into some of those caltrops was just a little bit funny or ironic that he was saying those things to me. So we're going to do a quick check to see how much loot we actually made it out with. I think at this point in the playtest, I was still believing that blues and greens could be sold for probably 50 G. You know, you see I got a wizard's, what's it called? Crystal sword. This rondel dagger with spell capacity. You might see a wizard using that in the past. But essentially, this stuff became absolute junk. Considering Trade Post was down for a few days, and by the time Trade Post was back working and functional, you couldn't sell anything that wasn't like at least +1 all attributes or strength or something beneficial. All these little oddball greens and blues did not make me much money. But here we have the, you know, the bread and butter of what you can get out of Goblin Caves with a pretty quick run. Getting what, close to almost 200 gold already. 170 gold on top of the items. Some bolts, an upgraded sword. So yeah, we're doing pretty well here. and I'm pretty happy with that run, and I appreciate you guys supporting this channel. I love the crossbow. I think it's great. I just wish I got to use more of it last playtest, as I was kind of pretty heavy into the Gladiator series, as well as also attempting that Gladiator series with the Barbarian class, which I may show you guys if I have time. I seriously believe we're going to get early access very soon. So, the hopium's real, copium is here, and I'll see you guys all next time.